Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 16 of Two Dads Drink. Hi, Sean.
Hi, Ian.
It's episode 16. We're past 15 now. It's like a new world now. We're into 16.
That's why I'm going to be a little calmer.
You know what else is new about the show?
What's up?
It is the Tony Romo show here. We have Tony Romo action figure, Tony Romo picture in the background.
Yay.
We're all Romo'd out here.
And the Romo show will be brought to you by a Scottish whiskey, the famous Grouse, which, another cool fact, this is actually the first time I've actually bought a bottle of whiskey for the show.
Yeah, Ian's probably $200 in on whiskey right now, and you're finally buying some whiskey for the show.
Yeah, I mean, 16 episodes in, I'm finally buying a bottle.
I also want to call it out that Sean overfilled my glass and didn't fill up his. He says it's because his glass is fatter.
I actually really just want to see Ian spill it on himself.
Yeah, that's likely to happen.
Cheers.
Oh, God. Woo! That's got an aftertaste. Ooh. Holy cow.
Oh, man.
Wow.
Whew. Ian's bought cheap whiskey multiple times, so I kind of wanted to.
This isn't cheap, though. This is $20. My cheap whiskey's been like under $10.
Oh, $20.
Wow, that's like motor oil, dude. We're going to have to take another shot of that. You know that, right? That's up there with Evan Williams. Dave, where are you at to drink this whiskey right now?
Anybody. We will take an auction on our bottle of whiskey. It starts at a penny.
Oh, 1 penny. One penny. You get the rest of the bottle.
Or we may just do a giveaway. The rest of the bottle.
Yeah. Like and subscribe and comment on our show, and we'll give you the rest of the famous grouse. Grouse? Goose? It is grouse.
It is some sort of bird. It's pretty sure it's grouse.
Grouse.
Pretty sure it's grouse.
I'm going to call it grouse because it's pretty nasty.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty nasty.
Please, famous grouse, do not support the show.
That's why you're the unofficial sponsor. Wow. Boy.
Watch, they'll be the one to support and send us a box.
Yeah, right? And then we'll be stuck drinking them for like a month.
Oh, I'm giving it away. Anybody who follows our show here, you get a bottle. No, actually, we want to keep the followers, don't we?
We do want to keep the followers, yeah. So we can't give them more whiskey.
All right.
Is this even whiskey or just like scotch?
No, it's Scottish whiskey.
Yes.
Blended Scotch whiskey. Scotch whiskey.
Yeah, that's why because it's scotch, right?
A little bit, but that still tastes like black licorice. I hate black licorice.
Yeah. Well, we only probably have a couple more weeks before our show becomes probably more sports than anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
But we do have a couple sports topics we're mixing in. We are going to start off with Scottie Pippen. In an article today, I think it was, he came out and said that Phil Jackson was racist and Michael Jordan was selfish. Do either of those surprise you, Sean?
Well, I think this all stems back to him signing a contract that was underpaying him for a long time, and they never fixed it or weren't going to fix it because he signed the contract.
Which was not either Michael's or Phil's fault.
What do people have a tendency to do? Blame everybody else.
It's true. Yeah, it's definitely true. Mm-hmm. I will say if the documentary was correct and accurate, both the owner and Krause both said that maybe that's a grouse. Both the owner and Krause they both were in the room at the same time. They both had the same story on the doc. You probably watched it, right? The documentary. And they both said like they tried to talk Scottie out of signing the contract.
Yeah, I remember.
And they both said if you sign this contract, because he wanted it early. Yeah. And they said if you sign this contract, we will not renegotiate this deal until it's over.
Right.
So Scottie knew what he was signing. He knew what he was signing up for. I just don't think that Scottie realized that from 1992 to 1998, the NBA would just go nuts with salaries.
Yeah, but you never know that. That's why you go for those 3-year contracts.
When I was watching the documentary, because I actually didn't know this as a Bulls fan, oddly enough, until I watched the documentary. When I researched it, and like the top player in the NBA was making like $4 million a year or something like that. Yeah. In 1992 when it was 91 or 92 whenever he signed that deal. And then by the time that contract was up, the top player in the NBA was Michael Jordan, who was making like $30 million a year.
Yeah.
And not to mention the fact that like there was no salary cap in the NBA at the time. So they easily could have paid Scottie also like $25, $30 million a year. So Scottie really got screwed on that deal.
Yeah, he did, but he also made the problem himself.
Are we surprised that Michael Jordan is selfish?
No, I think every great athlete I've ever heard of is selfish.
Yeah, I mean, again, Michael didn't have many friends on the team. His friends were like the 12th guy on the bench, Nobody really liked to hang out with him.
Yeah, who was it? Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr was famous for saying, I was going to a fight with Michael during practice. And he said it just made me better, but I almost got into a fight with him during practice because what he expected out of me.
I think the truly great players typically come off as like not very friendly, right? Tom Brady, most people didn't think Tom was very friendly. Except for recent Tom.
I was going to say recent
Tom seems like he's super fun. I don't know what's up with this. But if you would have thought Tom like 5 years ago, you probably would have thought, yeah, he's a big asshole. He's always barking at people on the sideline.
We can go backwards to Bill Belichick then and say Bill Belichick.
Yeah, but Tom was the one barking on the sidelines. When you dropped the ball, he was in your face, But it's because he's a perfectionist and he wants to be the best, right?
He's still doing that now, except for when he's off the field. Now when he's off the field,
right now when he's off the field, he's having fun and partying and stuff.
Throwing Super Bowl trophies over the bay.
And I think if you're going to say anybody competes with Tom Brady, it would probably be Michael Jordan, right? Like, the greatest of all time goes.
Yeah, it has to be one of those two.
Yeah, so I think when you get into that category, more times than not, most of your teammates are probably going to think you're an asshole because you're literally holding them accountable every single practice to be the best that they can be. And that's not easy. Like I've seen stories about Terrell Owens, like holding people accountable in practice and practicing harder than anybody. And I just think when you're just that caliber of player and you have that mentality, you want everybody to be as good as you are. And you're going to
see, and I'll go to my favorite sport because I can honestly say that the stars on my team, at least, haven't been that way.
Yeah.
Lemieux.
I would agree with that. Both Crosby and Lemieux really, and even Yager for that effect.
Well, I use them in this city because you get to actually see them a little bit more, like Lemieux. Yeah. Lemieux's like king of the city here. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He has saved the city many times, saved the Penguins. He's done so much in terms of just the city that he's pretty much the king in the city.
But if we go with that sport, I mean, if you turn to the other probably greatest of all time in that sport, which is Gretzky, right? Like I've heard a lot of the same type of things that I hear about Brady and you hear about Jordan.
I haven't really heard that about Gretzky.
Really?
Yeah.
No. Well, I mean, maybe I'm hearing wrong. I don't know. I'm not as big of a hockey fan as you are, but
I'm also not a fan of Gretzky, so it's I respect them, but I'm not a huge fan.
Yeah.
I mean, Lemieux played on great teams, but when I look back in history and I see what Gretzky played with, I stop and think, I'm like, oh shoot, this guy is.
At the end of the day, though, I'm not mad that Scottie said it. I'm just happy that I got to witness the greatness of Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan.
I'm not, honestly, the selfish thing, I don't think that's surprising at all, saying Jordan's selfish.
Doesn't surprise me.
That, to me, is not surprising in the least, but that's always like, oh, you made that into news? That's an article? Oh.
I'm a little surprised about the racist comment because, Phil Jackson's always been the players' coach.
I was thinking the same thing.
Like Rodman, he's the only coach that Rodman would play for. He's the only coach Michael would play for.
Yeah. Kobe, Shaq.
Yeah. I mean, he never had any complaints up until right now, right?
This is the first time I've ever heard a negative about Phil from a player's perspective.
He's like the Zen master. I mean, he's like a real mellow, chill dude. I don't see it, but maybe Scottie saw something behind the scenes that you and I have never seen.
I don't know. I don't see it at all, but
Shaq, we need you at Shaq. We need you to chime in here and see what you think about it.
What about you, MJ? You were thrown into that article.
Yeah, MJ, what do you think? Not that you're listening to our show, nor is Shaq, but hey, that'd be great if we got some coverage.
Hey, guys.
We'd make some national headlines. It'd be awesome.
Guys, if you even mention that you're listening to our show, we will definitely send you the famous grouse.
Does anybody want it? We'll give it to you. Can you take it before we have to take our second shot?
I was going to say, if you text us
right now.
I will run out that door right behind
just text us.
Oh.
Ray Robert is listening to our podcast, and it is awesome. Well, we're not doing this live, so he's clearly listening to an old one.
Ray, you'll hear this one later.
You will hear this one later, Ray. You made it live on the show, though. Good job. So I am a Microsoft geek, as you know. Right?
Yes.
I hate Apple and I love Microsoft, to the fact that even when they were putting out horrible Windows phones, I was a Windows phone guy, right? I would carry those just because I love Microsoft, and I'm an Xbox guy. Everything's Microsoft in my life, right? However, I will say I in recent years, done a little Google, right? My email and my cloud stuff's all with Google. And obviously I rock Android phones, which is Google. Microsoft just announced the launch of Windows 11. And I wanted to get, this is kind of cool because I can almost guarantee you've researched nothing about it because you are not a Windows person.
That's correct.
You're not a Microsoft person. However, when you research Windows 11, it looks completely different than all other Windows.
I actually, like I said, I ran across an article. I didn't read it, but I ran across. That's 100% what it said.
Well, from first glance, it looks like a Chrome OS. And then it also is going to allow you to run Android applications.
So they're getting away from what, Cortana?
No, Cortana will probably still be a thing, I would assume. But and then of course you also have them releasing their first Android phone not too long ago. Is this Microsoft taking a step back and going like, let's embrace Google and the power of Google?
Probably be smart.
They're better than it than we are, right?
Like I said, it'd be smart for them.
Yeah, because if their Edge browser, right, is now built on Chromium, which is what Chrome, the Chrome browser is built on. I feel like I'm kind of shocked that they're, and maybe it's the new leadership in Microsoft, but they're just like all in on Android right now. And I'm kind of excited about this because like the one thing that Windows is kind of lacking on is their store and the apps that are available. And when you're using a Windows tablet, you pretty much have to just make your own apps with web browsers, right? Which you can do that with the Chrome browser and everything, but it's just not the same. Like the YouTube app blows.
What was it? Okay, so this is going back years. Me and Ian both worked in the cell phone industry. That being said, I do remember, and I can't remember what his name was, one of the representatives from Microsoft coming to the store. You could download Apple Music. It's an app on there now. Oh.
You mean iTunes?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a thing?
It was a side app. But
I thought you could always put iTunes on Windows.
Not on their phone. It was a side app that they can download, and then you can have all your music that you would listen to on your iPhone on your Windows.
So is iTunes still a thing, or is Apple Music now
It's now Apple Music.
Okay. That's what I thought.
But nonetheless, I downloaded it because they gave me a free phone. I was playing with it in the store, trying to teach my reps at the time. Okay. It didn't work.
Of course it didn't work.
You click it, it would go to the main page, and then beep, it'd be gone.
Doesn't surprise me.
And then what else was it that they couldn't download? Instagram.
Oh, they never had Instagram.
Right. But they had side apps for it.
And none of those worked.
Right.
Microsoft is not, even though I love Microsoft, they're not without fault. They definitely make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
However, they've really crushed it on some other things, So, but yeah, I'm kind of intrigued at this, and I will 100% upgrade one of my Windows devices to Windows 11 to check it out because it's going to be a free upgrade to all Windows 10 users. But I will refrain from upgrading the other ones until I absolutely have to, unless I download Windows 11 and love it. Right. If I download it and I love it, okay, I'm all in. But otherwise, because they're pretty much, Windows has been in every other operating system. Windows XP was great. Windows Vista was horrible. Windows 7 was great. Windows 8 not so great. Windows 10 has been amazing. Probably the best Windows operating system. So
evens odds.
Yeah. So the odds are that Windows 11 is going to completely blow. But the fact that they have Android apps, I'm very intrigued, and I think that'll help out the tablet side because there's a lot of Windows 2 in one. So I think that that'll definitely help out the tablet side. So thank you for letting me discuss Windows. What are your thoughts of there being almost a Chrome/Android-esque version of Windows?
Are you really asking me
asking
this?
You. Yeah.
The person you already said probably hasn't read a thing about it.
I don't care. I'm asking. What are your thoughts that they're kind of copying off of Android and Chrome a little bit? You don't even care. He's not even going to humor me. Shh, he's sleeping now. So, Tony, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts here, Tony Romo, on Microsoft and Android? Tony wouldn't sleep on me. He's my boy. Fine, we'll move on. Thank you for letting me talk about something that excited me this week. Thank you. I appreciate that.
By the way, anybody want a free raffle for the Tony Romo that's looking at me over my shoulder here?
No, that's mine.
Why couldn't he look at you?
It's mine.
That's why can't he look at you?
Because he's looking that way and you always sit in that chair.
I'm not homo.
Even if I put him all the way in the corner, he'd still be looking at you.
By the way, Ian will tell you I started a design for Homo Romo. He'll tell you I started the design for it.
And I will rock that shirt. I just want you to know. So, if anybody's Homo Romo, it's me. So, it is what it is.
And our new decorations in our show advertise that.
CBS Sports. Changing subjects. CBS Sports it came out with their rankings of 2021 NFL head coaches. And you brought up a good point that it is their rankings for the current year, not off of legacy.
Correct. We had a whole discussion about this.
We did. We talked about it before the show started.
And it had nothing to do with 2021 rankings.
And I have some big beefs on the list. And as I'm sure you do. I don't disagree with the top two coaches.
Yeah, you mean based off 2021, I have a hard time with the Belichick, but I'm going to give him the benefit of a doubt for what he's done.
That's got to be what they're doing. He had one off year, and technically he still went 8-8, so it wasn't like a losing season.
Yeah, but is that number 2?
His second losing season ever, or second 8-8 season? I don't know, but I can't disagree with Andy Reid being number 1. I can't disagree with Belichick being number 2. Now, if this is legacy sport, it'd be the other way around.
Yeah, I think it'd have to go the other way around.
It would have to go the other way around. Not that Andy Reid's not a great coach and has been all the time, pretty much.
Belichick has 6 Super Bowls.
My beef with the list, and the Homer side of me says Mike McCarthy being ranked 23rd. Now, look, I'm not the biggest Mike McCarthy fan. However, I will say I thought he was a pretty solid coach in Green Bay. And the last half of last season, without his starting quarterback, did pretty decent with the Cowboys. They ended up almost being a winning team last year and almost making the playoffs with the atrocious start and without their starting quarterback.
However, we went through the top 15, and about 13 of the 15, you said you would take them over him.
He's a top 15 coach. He's not 23rd. Okay? He should not be ranked below Mike Zimmer was there.
I told you Zimmer was the
But who was like 17th? Cliff Kingsbury was.
No, Kingsbury was 22. He was
he's still right in front of him.
One in front of him.
I still would take him over Kingsbury any
They just
day
like
of the
him
week.
better. They think Mike McCarthy was the screw up in Green Bay, not the helpful hand.
Yeah, I really don't agree with that. I'm also a little shocked that your coach is as far down the list as he is. What was he, 13?
No, he was in the top 10, but I think it was 7 or 8.
Either way, I mean, still
Once again, they're basing it off of
coach, right?
They're basing it off of, well, we said what they
Potential for
expect
this
is
year.
potential for this year.
And then Urban Meyer was my other big beef with the list. Out of all the new coaches, he was ranked one of the worst of the new coaches.
He really was.
The only one behind him was Dan Campbell.
No, who's the last one? The Houston Texans coach.
Oh, that's right. Well, I forgot about him. So Dan Campbell and the Houston coach.
Did the Philly coach go ahead of him?
Yes,
too?
No, not behind him. He went in front of him.
Yeah,
Okay.
Because
Because Urban Meyer was 28 and the Eagles coach was 27.
I'm wrong. There's some of the new coaches, like Robert Saleh did go behind him. I know that because Saleh was 27. I think Saleh was 28.
I thought Saul was 29, maybe.
Maybe 29. One of the two, but he was behind Urban Meyer.
But the
those
new
are the
Atlanta
two.
Falcons coach was 24th or something.
The only thing I could think of is the new Atlanta Falcons coach was the offensive coordinator of the Titans last year, and you saw what Derrick Henry did, and you saw what they have done with him.
But this is Urban Meyer we're talking about.
Yeah, but it's college. You're not basing off college. You're basing off
I
pros.
know, but you got to think that Urban Meyer just walks into the room and unzips his pants, and then
Do you think that college coached to NFL pros?
I mean,
who are now making more money than him versus in college they weren't? Look at a lot of coaches.
You still got to be more decorated. Like if you're an all-pro athlete, okay, and your new coach walks in, and it's that Nick dude for the Eagles, or it's Urban Meyer. Which one are you gonna listen to?
Off the top of your head, how many college coaches have actually been successful in the NFL?
Pete Carroll.
Okay.
Jimmy Johnson.
Go ahead, anymore? Because I knew those two. I can think of other ones that failed.
Oh, there's been a ton that have failed
Yeah.
over the years.
I can think of big names that have failed that are great at college.
Oh yeah, I mean Nick Saban.
That right there.
I mean Nick Saban, Steve Spurrier, who was
right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely more failures than successes coming out of college.
Right.
However, I'm just saying if you're gonna.
I'm agreeing with you. I would have Urban Meyer higher than most of those guys.
I would have not complained if Urban Meyer was ranked above Mike McCarthy. And I think Mike McCarthy's a top 15 head coach. So
I would have put, if it was me, I would have had Urban Meyer closer to the 20 point of the coaches. You know, the only rookie coach I may have had higher, and you know me, I really appreciate him, is Robert Saleh.
And I really like Robert Saleh too. However, I don't think he was a good fit for where he went.
I think he was, because I think they were trying to build an organization. I think
they're trying to get a hard-nosed guy. Is what they were going for, because they've had.
They might as well go with Dan Campbell for that. Then
they've had a bunch of punks being head coaches up there. You know,
go with Dan Campbell, eat some knees off.
I'm gonna bite your kneecap.
Knock us down a second time. We'll come back up biting your kneecap off.
What's your biggest beef with the list?
Oh man. Well, first of all, the Eagles coach being at like 26 in front of Urban Meyer.
I'm glad we can at least agree on that.
That's ridiculous.
That's absurd. The guy couldn't even get through his first press conference.
That to me is a guy who should have been. There's 32 coaches. He should have been number 31 or 32. You pick and choose between him and the Texans coach.
Or the Bengals.
I think the Bengals coach is better than either of them, and he's only won 6 games, but he's been with the Bengals. So what are you gonna do?
In 2 years.
But I still think he's better than either one of those two. I don't know if McCarthy should be 23, but there's, when we went through the list, I think there was like 1 or 2 that I said, oh, maybe I would go with him over them. So I guess I'm not super opposed to where he's at, but I just don't like him as a coach, where you do.
I don't think he's like the greatest coach ever, but the dude has won a Super Bowl and he's got a stacked team. I don't see how you can't say if you're going to go off of this year, how he's not a top 15 coach. Barring injuries, he should win 13 games this year. Remember, we have an extra game this year. We have 17 games instead of 16.
I really like Flores of Miami and think he should probably be higher, and maybe he will be this year. And once again, I go off of guys who go into organizations that are failures and kind of fix them. And what Flores did last year with the Dolphins,
I love Flores.
He was amazing last year for the Dolphins.
Was he 16 on the list? Yeah, he should be higher. I really like him.
I don't know if he's top 10, but he should be definitely above the 15 point.
I would rank him above some of the people that made the top 10. He's definitely above Zimmer. And that's top 15.
Well, that's one that, to me, just seeing his name, he was number 15. Seeing his name, I would have just kind of.
I think that that Flores has had less to work with than like Sean McVay.
Yep.
And he's had less to work with than Kyle Shanahan. So I mean, I put him in that category of elite young coaches. Right?
Yeah, I would put him in that grouping.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see how you can't. I mean,
the one coach I really like, and I forget where he was listed, the Packers coach before.
I think it was 7.
Was he 7?
Yeah, 6.
I really like him. That's, to me, that's rough, because I feel like he may be higher, but there's a lot of good coaches. When you talk 7 and up, you're talking a lot of good coaches.
Yeah. I mean, they ranked him pretty high.
Right. But he also is only in 3 seasons, only lost 6 games.
But he also has probably, whether you like him or not, probably one of the top 3 quarterbacks in the National Football League.
Okay. And he has maybe the 1 or 2 wide receiver.
Right.
And Devontae Adams, which is he the 1 or 2, or is that Aaron Rodgers?
Top 10 running back.
He may be top 5. He remember, he dealt with Jamal Williams. It wasn't even like he was the primary back. They split between him and Jamal Williams all the time. And then they brought in, what's his name, A.J. Dillon, the big thigh master.
Yeah. I mean, he's got a loaded roster. We'll just say that. And I don't know how great of a coach he truly is. It's like, do you really need a head coach when you have Aaron Rodgers at quarterback? That's the question. Do you really need a coach when you have
Maybe
Ben
we'll find
Roethlisberger at quarterback? Do you really need a coach when you have Tom Brady at quarterback?
Maybe we'll find it out this year about the Aaron Rodgers.
Is Bruce Arians a great coach, or is Tom Brady just a great freaking quarterback?
Bruce Arians, I think, is a great offensive coach because he's went to even Arizona and he was
went
productive. Indianapolis. He went there when the coach went out with cancer.
He's a solid coach.
He's a solid coach.
He's a solid coach. But Tom
don't get me
Brady
wrong,
made that team.
quarterbacks help him. I mean, when he was in Indianapolis, he had Andrew Luck.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh, Ben Roethlisberger, Tom Brady.
That's some good quarterbacks.
Who was it in Arizona?
Kurt Warner.
Oh, that's right, Kurt Warner.
I mean, he's had great quarterbacks.
But Kurt Warner, I don't know if I want to give Kurt Warner the credit in that situation because that was like a revival. Kurt Warner dropped off and then went to the Cardinals and then all of a sudden jumped back up with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I necessarily want to give Kurt the credit on that one.
He still is a great quarterback, though.
Oh, he was. Yeah. What he was on the greatest show on turf.
The greatest show on turf, yeah.
Marshall Faulk. I'll never forget Marshall Faulk.
Marshall put like 2 of the best seasons ever at the running back
That
position.
guy was scary.
That was a fun team to watch.
Yeah. Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, Marshall Faulk.
Oh, yeah.
And Kurt Warner. Oh, who do I just want to throw to? Oh, I'll dump it off to Falk. Falk will go 20 yards. Oh, I can throw 80 yards on the field with Isaac Bruce. Okay.
The funny thing is when Trent Green was the quarterback, they were not that great.
No. How did well that goes to me, that's like the Kansas City route right there. What you just said, what we're saying. That's literally the Kansas City route. I mean, it really is. You got Mahomes who can throw the ball. You have Tyreek Hill. I guess Sammy Watson's gone, but they replaced him with Mecole Hardman, who was their first round pick, 2 years ago?
Oh, Sammy Watkins, where'd he go?
Baltimore.
Ooh, it's a good pickup in Baltimore.
It is, but he's going to be their number one. He's not a good number one. He's a good number two.
Hollywood Browns.
And from what they're saying, Sammy Watkins is their number one.
That's a good 1-2 punch. You got 2 number 2s, basically.
And then I think they drafted a receiver too, Rashad Bateman or something like that. One of the top round wide receivers.
And
they're trying to get
2 solid tight ends.
They're trying to get receiver. No, they moved on for Hayden Hurst. They only have Andrews now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Hayden Hurst went to Atlanta because they had to pay Andrews money.
I thought there was another tight end on that.
Maybe they picked up somebody else, but
yeah, it was the other white
guy. Okay, hopefully Scottie Pippen's not listening to the show.
Hey, it's cool. That's not a racist comment. There's not a whole lot of white dudes playing other positions in the NFL. Kickers and quarterbacks.
Quarterbacks, some linemen.
Yeah, some offensive linemen. That's about
not really on the defensive side of the ball much.
Not like J.J. Watt.
I guess so. I guess you get
DJ,
some.
JJ.
You get there's 11 guys on the field, so 1 for 11, you're okay. Not much. Running backs? Christian McCaffrey, I guess, which is the number 1 running back.
I mean, he's a heck of a running back.
He is.
Not much outside of that, though.
If you were going to ask me a receiver, I would have just went to Julian Edelman. He retired. Wes Welker. Wes Welker. He retired.
You hear Cole Beasley's going to retire because they're going to force him to get the COVID vaccine. Yeah, that's a new one. He's such a whiny little baby.
He was one of your boys.
You're getting paid millions. Yeah, until he left and started talking trash on the Cowboys. Like, you're getting paid millions of dollars. You do whatever they want you to do. You know what I mean?
So real quick on the role reversal here. For your organization, who is your worst head
coach? Well, we saw the article from the USA Today, and before I even knew, I knew, right?
Right.
However, I will say that unlike your franchise, my franchise has a lot to choose from, right? Like, we got, we had some, I mean, even Bill Parcells wasn't a great coach. I mean, he turned our franchise around a little bit, but just going backwards here, right? Jason Garrett was atrocious for many, many years. I wouldn't say atrocious. He was average. Say he was
exactly average. What he was known for.
He was average for many, many years. And then you go before Jason Garrett, Wade Phillips, who had one really good season with the Cowboys and then went downhill after that. I mean, we could just go through, but then you get to like the really bad years. We had like Chan Gailey, right? He lasted like 2 years.
He's another guy who went back to college and did well in college.
He was a Pittsburgh guy. He came from the Steelers, right?
He left and went to Georgia Tech.
He's still an offensive coach somewhere in the NFL. I saw him last year doing something, but I mean, Chan Gailey wasn't great. That was like the end of the dynasty. Then you got who was right after Chan Gailey? There was somebody else right after Chan Gailey, and then you went into the who is probably the
By
worst
the way,
coach.
on the screen, you guys can't see this. Ian underneath the table is.
I'm counting. We had a lot of coaches. Okay?
And the reason why I do that is with one hand, I can tell you how many coaches I remember for the Steelers.
It's only been three.
Three.
Yeah.
No, there was somebody before Noel when
they
they first came in, but I don't even have a clue who that is at this point.
No, I thought there was only three.
No, Noel was the guy they brought in to fix the franchise. But when the franchise first came, remember we were the Steagles for a while?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the Cowboys had one coach before Landry, but then they had Landry for like 25 years.
Right. And that's pretty much the Steelers at this basis with every coach.
And then we should have had Jimmy Johnson for 25 years. And that was an epic failure.
I have to tell you, I'm actually very intrigued because we said about the Steelers, and we've had three coaches, okay? The shortest tenure so far is Tomlin at 13 years right now. Do the Steelers know how to hire a bad coach?
They know how to build a good team,
Do they know how to hire a bad coach?
But realistically speaking, is Tomlin really a great coach? There's been people calling for his job almost every year.
I was one of them every so once in a while. I don't like how he.
I mean, you got to think once Cowher's team was gone,
right?
He hasn't done jack crap. I mean, he's been first round bumps all the time.
Never lost a season. Never had a losing season.
Never had a losing season. Where Tomlin impressed me from an outsider. Now, early on, I really liked Tomlin because I always said he had big balls, right? Because like he would just fourth. He's like me and Matt. Fourth down, I'm going for it. 2-point conversion, yes. Onside kick, sure, why not? So that was cool to watch at first, but that gets old. Like the Cowboys Steelers game you and I went to was one of the greatest games I've ever seen, and I hope you feel that way too.
Yeah,
it was just a great game.
It was a fun game. It was a fun game.
But Tomlin single-handedly lost that game by going for 2-point conversions.
I know.
And failing.
Yeah.
They went for what, 4 and lost.
I was sitting right next to you. I remember this, yes.
I mean, all 4 of them. Like, they failed all 4. If he would have just kicked 2 extra points, you guys probably win that game.
Yeah, sounds about right.
You know what I mean? So his aggressiveness has kicked them in the ass a lot of times. So the thing I like about him ends up being his downfall. But the other thing that you got to think about with Tomlin is that, like, since that first nucleus of talent went away, he's done. I mean, other than not having a losing year, he's done nothing. However, what impressed me was when they lost Ben Roethlisberger and they were 0-2 or 0-3 when he went down.
Not last year, the year before.
The year before, yeah. They first things first is I'm thinking you just tank out because you had
we both said that.
You had literally the best quarterback class we've heard of in a long time.
What did he do? He went and traded that first round pick.
He traded the first round pick, which shocked us all. He got Minka, which has been a beast for you guys.
Oh, he turned our defense around. We were good on defense, but we got him and we were
great.
Lights out.
One player
defense.
he took you to great on defense. And then with Duck Hodges and Mason Rudolph, 2 of the worst quarterbacks I've ever seen with my own 2 eyes in the NFL.
Mason's still here, by the way.
I mean, he won 8 games somehow with those losers at quarterback. Okay?
I think we averaged 130 passing yards a game.
And the Steelers fans are not used to having atrocious quarterback play like I am as a Cowboys fan. I mean, you got to think we've had.
We did have Cordell Stewart for a while.
We had Ryan Leaf at quarterback. We had Clint Stoner at quarterback. We had Quincy Carter, which Quincy was probably one of our better ones during that year. Vinny Testaverde, Drew Bledsoe. The list of quarterbacks from Aikman to Romo was ridiculous, and they were all atrocious. Every single one of them.
Well, we had Cordell Stewart in the middle there. Don't get me wrong. Somehow we got Tommy Maddox, and Tommy Maddox was great with us.
For 2 years.
The XFL MVP.
Until he got bumped by Roethlisberger.
Well, yeah, but that's a first round draft.
And he still was a backup for a couple of years, wasn't he?
No, he was maybe one more year, maybe, but he wasn't there long after.
Did he go somewhere else after that?
They just don't want to pay him that much money.
Mm-hmm. So that's where Tomlin impressed me, that he won with those 2 loser quarterbacks. That's impressive. So round of applause, Tomlin. You found a way to win with Duck Hodges at quarterback for a couple games.
I say this all the time. The Steelers are good at building a team, and they don't go for star players when they sign free agents. They don't. They never did. That's just not their pattern. I do want to appreciate that they took a chance, and I think he's going to end up being the quarterback next year unless we are really horrible and we get a first 5 overall pick, they're probably going to go with Dwayne Haskins next year.
Yeah,
which is who they took a chance on this
which
year.
is smart.
It,
I mean,
it
that
is.
was a hell of a job. I wanted the Cowboys to sign Dwayne Haskins. It's a low price, low risk.
Oh, you paid him. You paid a minimum.
Yeah.
He's under 300K. There's talks that he may be on the practice squad this year and not even playing.
And you could trade him at some point if you turn him into an asset.
Right.
You know, like there's a lot of potential there for Haskins.
But he has an arm. He has the potential to be a great quarterback. There's a reason why he was a top 10 pick in the NFL draft. And people thought he was the first quarterback, which he didn't go first, but they thought he should have been the first quarterback taken.
Danny Dimes got drafted.
Right.
Too.
Which I don't know if that's the right pick or not.
Well, clearly it is so far. Danny Dimes has been better, notably for his 80-yard run where he stumbled instead of scoring a touchdown. That was great.
Right. But nonetheless, Dwayne Haskins, I feel like I said, unless we are absolutely horrible, which the Steelers, we just aren't ever. At worst, we're 8-8.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are still going to win games. You got a great defense, though.
And that's exactly, we have weapons on offense. We just got Najee. Our biggest issue is the offensive line right now.
We got way off track on this topic, by the way.
We really did.
So
this is where we say we're eventually going to go to sports because literally football talk, and
we can just talk all day long.
We're just talking.
However, when you were looking at the article, I called who is the worst Cowboys coach in the history, and that's Dave Campbell. And later in life, I grew to really like Dave Campbell because he was just this like fiery old guy on the sidelines, and he'd get in the ref's face, and he'd be a lot of fun. But as our head coach, wow, was he bad? Like, I mean, there was games where like I would tune in, and I watched every Cowboys game. I always do. But I would tune in, and like my excitement for the game was when they would show the Cowboys cheerleaders before or after commercial break. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, that was the highlight of the games, right? I remember there was one time I went to a Cowboys-Cardinals game when Dave Campbell was our head coach. And there were fans, and I couldn't tell if they were Cardinals fans or Cowboys fans because they went in wearing Cowboys jerseys. And then you would see, like, once the Cardinals with Jake Plummer started just pounding on us, they took off their Cowboys jerseys and had Cardinals jerseys on. So I'm like, are they Cowboys fans or Cardinals? I mean, that's how atrocious the Dallas Cowboys were. And I mean, he was just trying out every quarterback.
Wasn't that the Jake Plummer days?
That was
Jake the
Snake Plummer. He was torching us. What was his receiver that was really good? That number 80.
Rondell Moore.
No, it'll come to me eventually.
Rod Tiswell.
Yeah, Rod Tiswell. But yeah, so I mean, he was just trying out, like he was trying out baseball players to come play. Like I can't remember that guy's name. Oh, Chad Hutchinson.
I remember that actually.
They got Chad Hutchinson to come out and play. They got just all kinds of just randomness. And it's like it was just bad. I don't know if it was his fault or it was Jerry's or it was all of the above. But yeah, it was atrocious. 3, 5, and 11 seasons in a row before Jerry finally pulled the plug, and that led to Bill Parsons.
All right, so I'm going to make this short and sweet. For all of our Steeler fans out there, it has been mandated that our worst coach so far is Mike Tomlin. However, I'm going to end this segment with a question that you guys can leave in the comments. Who do you think the worst coach is? Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, or Mike Tomlin? Those are your three choices.
You said there was one coach before Chuck Noll, so let's just say that dude, whoever that dude was, because how do you even choose? Like, obviously, it's not Chuck Noll. How do you even choose between Tomlin and Cowher? They were both great coaches. I would almost lean towards Cowher being the worst out of the three.
How? Because Mike Tomlin.
He had more losing.
Mike Tomlin won with his players, with his team. Me and you had that conversation.
And I agree with that. However, losing seasons, he had more losing seasons.
I think he had
2?
1.
I thought he had 2 or 3. So as of this point, it's got to be, if there was a coach before Chuck Noll, you're looking it up right now. It's got
7, actually. We've had 7 coaches.
7?
That's what it says.
So 3 in like 6 decades, and then you have like 4.
Okay, so we had Jock Sutherland.
Never heard of him.
46 and 47.
1947.
Bill Cowher. Mike Tomlin. Where's the rest?
This is Wikipedia you're going on.
Yeah. Oh.
Are you sure that maybe interim head coaches?
I swear Wikipedia should have just a list.
You would think.
Games. List
Number
of head
of coaches.
coaches. Where are the number of coaches? 7. Where are
Can
they?
you click on the 7 and it takes you there? We can't figure out Wikipedia, folks. You're going to have to bear
Running
with us.
total number of coaches, Steelers.
All right, you could keep looking into that.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there you go. You finally found it.
There we go. Oh, geez. Oh, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
That doesn't count. We're talking about Steelers coaches.
That is football, though.
Yeah, it doesn't count. We're talking about Steelers coaches.
All right. So if we're talking about Steelers, we have Burt Bell, Aldo Denali, Walt Kissling, Jim Leonard, Jock Sutherland, John Mickelson, Joe Batch, Walt Kissling again, Buddy Parker, Mike Nixon, Bill Austin, and then you get to the long terms of Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin.
Did any of those coaches coach for like more than a year? 54 to 56.
2 for Austin, 60. He got fired during the season at 65. 57 to 64 for Buddy Parker.
Yeah, so whoever wrote that article for the USA Today clearly thought what we all thought, which was there was 3 head coaches in the history of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Well, look at this. The last 3, Noll coached 342 games, Cowher 240, and Tomlin's coming up on Cowher now at 224. Tomlin is literally, about 16 games behind and only 4 wins behind Cowher.
I'm pretty confident, though, that I can be a successful head coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Like that's what kind of an organization Steelers fans are lucky enough to have.
I will tell you, Chuck Noll has the worst winning percentage of them.
Yeah, but he had 4 Super Bowls.
I
mean, come on.
I get it.
You can't compare that.
They all actually, yeah, nope. They all won Coach of the Year at one point or another. All 3 of them.
So we can agree that whoever wrote that article,
they forgot a whole history of the Steelers.
They did not know that there was like 10 coaches before Chuck Noll.
They thought we started with Chuck Noll.
Yeah, I thought you started with Chuck Noll. I always thought Chuck Noll was the first coach for the Steelers. So I learned something new today.
That would be great.
on 2 Dads Drink, I learned something new. But yeah, I literally, if you're going to choose between the 3, I would almost have a hard time picking because like there's good parts of Cowher, there's good parts of Tomlin.
Well, Tomlin had the best winning percentage. Cowher built that team.
Cowher had they both had some drama. Cowher had the picture he stuffed in the ref's pocket, right? and him and Cordell were like lovers or something like that. They used to like kiss on the sideline and all that. And then you had
Tomlin chipping somebody running down the sideline.
Yeah, you had Tomlin tripping a Ravens player running down the sideline.
And he was running with them too.
Yeah, like entertainment wise, they all beat the hell out of Dave Campo. It was just miserable to watch.
Except for Chuck Noll. I wasn't really alive for Chuck Noll coaching, but
I literally think that I could be a successful coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers organization. Like, if you're going to put that quality of product on the field every year, who's not going to be a good coach? You'd have to be an atrocious head coach.
Dave Campo.
Even Dave Campo. Because, again, if you look at the quality of product that Dave Campo had to work with, it was pretty bad.
Maybe Nick Scalarini, the Eagles coach.
We're about to find out.
Or what is the other one? Nick McCauley or whatever for the Houston Texans.
Oh boy! Watch, those will probably be the 2 best out of all.
I was gonna say that.
Picking on them, and they're gonna be the best. I don't know. Dan Campbell's got to be the best. He's gonna bite some kneecaps off, right?
I would love him with our defense here. Put Dan Campbell as our head coach with our defense. Good luck. How fast they are. TJ Watt, Bud Dupree, or not Bud Dupree. Devin Bush coming back this year.
Yeah, Bud Dupree's gone.
Dupree's gone. He went to Tennessee.
Why do you think he went to the
Because you're thinking JJ Watt.
JJ Watt, who the Steelers fans all thought they were getting.
We wanted to see the Watt brothers.
We got to talk about our kids. Kids Corner. My wife's favorite segment. My wife started watching the show, by the way.
I know. She told me. She
tells me she watches the beginning.
Does she watch the beginning?
She watches the beginning, and then she cuts all the way to the end and watches the kids.
See, she didn't tell me she watched the beginning. She told me she just cuts to the kids' corner.
Yeah, no, she told me she watched the beginning, and then she cuts to the kids' corner. She skips all the crap in the middle.
So we got to keep this good.
What I need to teach her on so that we can up our YouTube stats is that we get her to watch the beginning and then leave her phone playing while she goes and does whatever she does next. Read a book or whatever. Click the like button, subscribe. What was the other thing we were just talking about the other day? We need to talk.
Share.
Oh, no. Hit the notification.
Oh,
bell.
The notification so you know when we come up.
Right.
Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson. God, he totally forgot about us, Jackson. We did change the name on him.
We did, but he still followed us, so it's still in his follow.
Yeah, you just got to hit that notification bell. And then if you're, if you're listening to the podcast version, you just got to subscribe to the podcast. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. No big
just
deal.
come to your phone. I listen. I was actually had us on the car today taking the kids to summer camp, and all he hears our voice, Daddy. Grayson's like, that's Uncle E.
Of course, he doesn't like Uncle E yet for some reason. But, that's okay. He'll like me eventually.
Meanie.
Yeah, meanie. He'll like me someday.
Well, you chase him around when he doesn't want to be chased around.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even get the kid to like look at me.
Meanie.
Or say hi or anything.
No, Meanie, no.
I'll let you go first. Sir.
Oh, which ones can I go with? There's enough with Ollie.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we'll go to good one. And I think we've shown you the video already. Who out there has watched the Wonky Donkey?
Oh, is that what he was dancing to?
The Wonky Donkey.
I've never watched it. The Wonky Donkey. He loved that video. He was dancing up a storm.
He climbs up on the table, play the Wonky Donkey. He runs in circles around everybody on the table.
Somehow doesn't fall off.
Doesn't fall off. Doesn't knock anything over either.
Yeah.
He just runs around.
He's not looking at anything but the phone.
No. And he's dancing to the Wonky Donkey song. And all of a sudden, my favorite, and he does this all the time. I know he's going to in the video, but I absolutely love it. I would play the video just to hear him say it. Is when they get to the Wonky Donkey's country part and they go yeehaw, and he goes yeehaw. And you guys on the show may know him, may not. If you know him, you know his expressions. Seeing all these expressions is worth all the money in the world, just his expressions.
Oh, his facial expressions are great.
He's ridiculous of a kid. I love him to death, but
I should have been recording him, but I didn't even know what was going on until he was in the middle of it. But it was very entertaining, and I was laughing my butt off during that period of time. Yes. So we could also talk about your son getting soaked and running around hugging me over and over.
Well, weren't you messing with him, and then he caught you?
I messed with him. I threw him
pushed him in the pool, right?
And then, but he didn't just give me back once. He got me back like 4 times.
He's also 5.
I mean, he just doesn't give up. He's ruthless.
He's 5.
That kid is ruthless.
Once you give him a chance to have some fun, he's going to keep going until Dad has to step in and yell at them. Roman, by the way, was scared of me. He looked at me like, because I pulled them both aside for wrestling. Roman just looked at me like, is he really?
Is Sean really yelling at me?
Is he really yelling at me? I had him and Grayson both there in front of me. And I looked at him like, if you guys are wrestling one more time, expect to find the back table over there and be sitting at it the rest of the party.
Well, the funny thing is, if you watch them wrestle, it's Grayson wrestling Roman. And Roman's like trying not to wrestle. He's just like, yeah, dude, I'm retired from wrestling. So like, can you leave me alone? You know? And then eventually he just gets mad and then he'll start wrestling. And then they're just attacking each other.
Right.
But it's like the Mayweather Paul fight, because like Roman's got the experience, but Grayson's got the height and weight going on. So, and he's younger.
Right.
Younger, height, weight. He's got everything. So. My kid's corner is definitely going to talk about Roman. So his dad, what a great dad he is. He spent all day Sunday putting together, cleaning out the yard some more. I cleared out another 1/8 of an acre or so of our property with my new really badass weed whacker. So I did that, and then I spent probably about an hour or so working on the new outdoor movie theater screen and got that thing all rolling. And Roman lasted about, probably 15, 20 minutes in, he was fine. And then he started chasing fireflies around. And then about 30 minutes in, he starts asking to go inside. He doesn't like watching movies outside. Like, Thanks, kid. I just worked really hard on this. Way to make your dad feel special. You're just like within 30 minutes of the movie, you're just like, yeah, dude, I'm done. But I think that some of it was like the mosquitoes and stuff. So, I'm going to build, the next step is we're building a deck off of it, and we're going to put some lights in, and then we'll do some mosquito repellent or whatever. Although I wasn't affected at all by mosquitoes, but he must be sweeter than I am. I say it a lot. I must be really sour. So that's my kids' quarters. I put in all that work, and then my son didn't enjoy it at all.
Oh, before we forget, he may have a new co-host while I'm gone on vacation. She was making a good pitch. Joking. She was making a good pitch.
I'm pretty sure she was joking.
Oh, that may be entertaining. I may check in while I'm on vacation.
I'm definitely going to try and get some co-hosts for that. Really, 2 episodes.
It's going to be 2 episodes. Yes.
You extended your vacation, or we have to just change our day that week to be later in the week so that you can catch up.
Yeah, but when you want to come back, it's your birthday.
Yeah.
So it's not like the rest of the week, is it? Things going on.
We'll probably celebrate the birthday at the weekend, so we'll have a couple weekdays there that we could squeeze it in.
We'll see.
We'll see. But I don't think Renee wants to do it. I think she was just picking on us.
Hey, girls' night comes around. She may have.
You never know.
Availability.
You never know. It'll be some interesting topics we'll have to come over with, because I don't think Renee watches any sports.
No, I could. So much of me hopes it happens just because I want to see the topics that get conversated.
I mean, it's gonna have to be just best chick flicks of all time.
Oh man.
Hey, I got some chick flicks I love. I love What Women Want. Right, that was a great chick flick. Pretty much every Adam Sandler movie is a chick flick, right? I mean, they are. It's all love.
You can have a whole kids corner show where you talk about just the kids.
We could. I bet she's got a lot of Harper stories too.
Oh man. Well, on that note,
again, anybody who wants the famous grouse,
do you want this shot?
You can please tell me now before we.
I will share it.
We're not live.
Ray, you text. You're close enough. You can come.
The famous grouse
cheers
whiskey right now, who Sean fills up to the brim again.
Not any better.
It's literally like motor oil. Oh God. That might be the worst one.
Maybe.
I think I'd take a shot of Evan Williams again before I do that again.
Can we put that on Alex's desk and leave it there for him?
He might oddly end up drinking.
That's why I'm saying that. How much he likes to mess with everybody.
Wow.
Can you imagine his face? He gets in there, he wants to take a shot or whatever of it.
It's weird though, because it's not like it's rough going down. It's
no,
it just
tastes bad.
It's just the taste, and then the worst part is the aftertaste. It's horrible.
I told you, it has black licorice taste to it. It's horrible.
I might have to try and get a co-host to drink that whiskey that I have in my drawer over there.
Which one?
That Jameson.
I almost got Jameson today.
We can get a special co-host.
Oh man, is he even a listener?
No, I doubt it. He doesn't like us. Come on now.
Yeah, true.
He put up with us because we used to put our hooker heels on.
I think if you listen, you know who you are.
All right, guys. Deuces. We'll see you in episode 17 next Monday.